Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the chest. I've prepared a very special video for you today that I'm excited about. We're going to do a tier list. Okay, we're going to do a tier list of chesticle exercises. And the reason we're doing this is because today is chest day. And I had to miss the gym for the last 2 days because we've been doing some family stuff over the weekend. And it was a good time. But I'm ready to get in the gym today, ready to get ripping and roaring. And really all I can think about is working out chest. And all I can think about is talking about chesticles. So that's what we're going to do. So please join me today. I have some pre-workout that I'm going to be sipping on for today's adventure. And as you notice, this tier list is going to be slightly different. It's set up a little bit different than a lot of other tier lists. You can see we have a scale of Jay Cutler to S, right? And you're probably asking yourself, why is S actually on the bottom? Okay, and yes, this is on the bottom, and this is the worst. This is S. This just means science. Okay, this is actually, you know what? We'll just change it right here. This is the science tier, so that's going to be the worst one. And then the top is Jay Cutler. Okay, so the best chest exercises, they're going to be graded holistically, right? Just for the overall chest, not necessarily developing the chest that is going to be a factor in today's ratings, but just one factor of many. Okay, so let's get into the first one. We're going to do a wild card on the first one, okay? So we have anything to do with chains. All right, now chains are great because they allow you to do a variation of chest. Now this is when you can like attach chains onto either side of the dumbbell bars. The only problem is that it's kind of loud, right? And it's slightly obnoxious, and not every gym has them. So it's kind of a pain to set up, really annoying to everyone else around you, but highly effective. Okay, so for that reason, we're going to put them in the B tier. It is something that I would suggest doing, but probably, there's better options. Okay, so we're going to grab one off the bottom. All right, so we're going to do decline barbell. Now, I'm actually going to put decline barbell in the D tier. I do not like decline at all. I don't do it at all anymore. I don't think I've done it in years. In my opinion, it's kind of an ego lift. Decline barbell bench is an ego lift. I'm just going to say it. I don't think that it targets any part of the chest better than anything. I think that doing incline bench still targets your lower chest. I don't think there's a way that you can target your lower chest. I don't think that's really possible. But anyways, so for that reason, decline barbell, you can do more weight than normal on a decline, but I think it's just an ego thing. All right, now we're going to jump over. Let's do, all right, flat bench with the Smith. Okay, flat Smith. You know what? I'm going to put flat Smith in A tier. Okay, I think that this is probably one of the best chest exercises you can do. Doing flat with the Smith. I think it's slightly better to do it with barbell, but the thing is, with the added safety, with the safety factor that you get from doing this on the Smith machine, in my opinion, it bumps it up, so I think they're actually equivalent from an overall holistic standpoint, flat bench and flat Smith. We're going to go down and we're just going to grab flat, let's see, where are we? Flat barbell. Since I'm talking about it, I'm just going to put flat barbell in A as well. Flat barbell bench, it's the king of all lifts, right? And the thing is, flat Smith, it's fantastic. I think you can just, you can work the same muscles and everything, but like I said, I would prefer, you lose a little bit with no stabilizers compared to the barbell bench, just doing it free weight, but safety factor gets a bonus, so yeah. All right, we'll go to the next one. Smith incline, okay? Now, I really, really like incline workouts in general, but I'm just going to be putting this Smith incline in there in just the A tier, okay? And the reason is, me personally, I feel like I don't get. I say I do get good chest activation on incline Smith, but I just feel it a little bit more in my front delts than when I do it on a barbell bench. So we're just going to put them in A tier for now. Solid exercise again, because you have the fantastic safety factor, which is great. My Smith machine, unfortunately, that I had, at my gym, it's like one of the ones that can move forward and backward and up and down, so you can't lock it in place. So it's like it kind of sucks, to be honest. I don't like it at all. Okay, now we're going to just throw this one up here. Incline barbell bench. This is going in the Jay Cutler tier. Okay, incline barbell bench over the last couple of years has absolutely just been my favorite chest builder. I prefer it strongly over flat bench. They say it targets more of your upper chest. I don't even know. To me, I just feel it more in my chest in general, and not to mention that you get a little tiny bit of front delt activation, so you're kind of working your front delts, in my opinion, a little bit more as well. In comparison to flat bench. And the thing is, yeah, I just like it. I enjoy it. And also you have the ability to bail out if needed. I have bailed out, kind of like Sam Sulek style. Obviously I didn't do it with 4 plates, right? I just did it with 185, but I went to failure and thought I was going to hit this rep. We did not make the last rep. So kind of have that cool little bit of extra, if you need to, you can dump it out, which is nice. Okay, so I think from a safety standpoint and overall chest building, in my opinion, it's the best one for just building the chest, for adding the most mass. I think it's the best. And you know what? Okay, do we want to do another Jay Cutler tier exercise? I'm gonna save that for a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna say something that's slightly controversial here. Okay, and this is with dips, and I know there have been tons of people who say that dips are like one of the number one chest exercises you can do, including professionals and everything. And I'm totally accepting that. I hear it. I hear people saying that. But for me, I got to put dips in the science tier. I don't feel it. It's just not for me. Okay, I did dips for a little while. I got really into them when I was deployed. And I don't know. I just end up with some sternum pain, and I like I said, I feel it pretty good in my triceps. I just don't really feel like it's a great chest exercise. Really, it's going in the science tier because of how overrated I think that it is. Okay, now sure, it's a good exercise. Whatever, I give you that. That's fine. But in my opinion, for how overrated it is as being a number one chest builder, it's in the science tier. I'm sorry, gentlemen. If dips is your number one, hate to see it. Okay, so we're going to do one. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys have done this exercise, but we're going to do floor press. Floor press is actually fantastic, okay? I think floor press is underrated in a lot of situations. Now, this is just when, think you're laying on the ground on your back, and you just have the weight on the ground, you roll the bar over you, and you're basically just pressing the weight off the floor. So what this is going to do is help you build up your regular bench press. And so I was doing this when I was really into like the West Side barbell method and doing a lot of their style workouts like Mark Bell and all that. And I do feel like it's really good to help. You can start to prime your muscles for, higher weights. Like if you're really trying to push, doing more weight, I think there's a certain point where floor press probably is not a good idea. Like I wouldn't try floor press with 400 pounds or 4 plates or anything. But, if you're trying to get up to 250, 270, I think floor press is pretty good to just start to get a feel of those weights. And obviously it's super safe because you're on the ground. I think it's, like I said, I think it's a good segue into trying that weight on a regular bench. Okay, so if you're kind of like a naturally skinnier guy, like I was, this could be for you, right? For somebody who like, naturally comes out of the womb and can do like 20 reps of 225 and is like, 250 pounds at 15 years old, you probably don't need this one. Okay. So this is just for us skinny guys. All right. Next one, dumbbell floor fly. Okay. When I was looking, I wanted to, peek around at a couple other videos, what chest exercises are other people talking about? And sure enough, I found this thing, and it was Jeff Cavalier was talking about it, Athlean-X, and I love Jeff. I think he's done outstanding work, and what he's done for the fitness community in general is incredible. I used to watch his videos. I used to watch a Athlean-X video before every workout, back in like 2016, 2017. And he was saying that dumbbell floor flies are good. And you know what? I just don't think so. I think that it's not a lot of range of motion. I think if you're going for a fly exercise, what you want is really good stretch. Well, same with anything. Like if you're trying to build muscle, one of the biggest factors is getting a really good deep stretch. And doing them on the floor, you're just you're completely limiting the amount you can stretch. So I don't really see how that's a good exercise at all. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to move it down. I got to put it in the science tier because it's just, I'm not seeing it. And I actually think this could be bad because you're not going very deep on the stretch. I could see people adding more weight to try to like compensate for that and then possibly tweak their shoulder in a weird way. So yeah, in my opinion, I think you just throw that one right in the dumpster. I don't think you need that. All right. Push-ups. All right. Push-ups. Push-ups are fantastic for certain things. Okay. When, throughout the years, there's been many times where I've found myself, either at home or in a hotel, and I just want to get a good chest pump, right? So the push-ups are always going to be a very like high tier exercise for me. Not quite A tier, but at least in B tier. You know what? No, we're going to put them in A because we still get the Jay Cutler tier. Okay, so I'm going to put push-ups in the A tier, and here's why. You can do them anywhere, right? You don't need any sort of workout equipment. You can just at any time stop and bang out some push-ups, right? I've done who knows how many hundreds of thousands of push-ups, over my years, especially in the military. For all sorts of stupid reasons, getting in trouble or whatever, just doing workouts happen all the time. So I think push-ups are great. I think they're only this high because you can do them with no equipment, right? So it's just like, bro, at any time you can just get a sweet, nasty chesticle pump. Yeah, that's incredible. Thing is, that's when I would do that's when I would do push-ups. I would not do push-ups anytime I'm in the gym. So, like, I'm not one of those guys, right? I'm not going around doing push-ups in between my sets at the gym. I don't think to me, that's just doing too much, okay? You're getting greedy, all right? Just like, same thing. What else we got in here? There's another push-up one on here. Banded push-ups, again, you're just getting greedy, okay? If you're doing banded push-ups, presses in the gym, go and just do something else. You don't need that, all right? It's doing too much. All right, let's get into the dumbbell stuff. All right, we'll do some dumbbell work, okay? Got dumbbell incline and dumbbell flat. So first we're going to do incline dumbbell. And I'm tempted, I'm just going to put incline dumbbell in the B tier. Now, things I like about dumbbell, things I really like about incline dumbbell is, really good contraction, the ability to squeeze your arms together at the top. You just don't get that same contraction that you do on a barbell. But the thing is, the reason why the dumbbells aren't for me, and I do them pretty often, but I don't like them because I feel like to get a good stimulus, the amount of weight you have to push up, all that work of just getting the dumbbells up there. I'm 35, right? So I'm thinking about working out for longevity. So even something small like, do I want to take the risk of like hiking up this 90-pound dumbbell and like, cocking it up with my arm weird, like to get under it so I can get back on the bench? Or am I just going to do barbell bench, right? Or am I just going to do barbell incline bench? So for me, it's like, it feels great. It's a fantastic exercise. It's just the risk for me, right? And that same risk factor, because at least on an incline dumbbells, when you're done, you can drop them right down to your knees, okay? When you're doing flat dumbbell press, what do you do when you're done with your set? Okay, you have to cock them both off to the side, right? To me, each time, so that every time you finish out your set, we're not talking about just the risk during each rep. We're talking about twice you risk your shoulder joints and, or twisting something or tearing something or getting something pinched twice after each set to bail out of your weights. And then you're flinging your dumbbells all around and looking like a jabroni. So to me, flat dumbbell press is going to be in C, and I almost want to put it in D tier. That's how much I don't like it. So, I have not done these in probably, 4 years. I'm really not a fan of those. I think, in my opinion, you can get plenty of, you don't need it. I think you can get a well-developed chest without flat dumbbell press. Okay, that's just my opinion. All right, then we got another one. Okay, Velcro flexion. All right, I've been showing you guys some videos of this recently. This has been going around a lot on the Instagrams, where the people they got like a Velcro cuff around their arm, and they're just doing like this weird like a short range of motion thing and dropping like slamming the weight back down on the cable stack, and they're just doing like a weird like cross thing. So I don't even know. But anyways, all that stuff is going in the science tier. Okay, you don't need that. I think that I'm going to try to be try to be respectful here, right? Because I just don't want to be a dick without offering some sort of solution as well. I don't think you need that. I think you are, I don't want to say wasting your time, but you are spending good time where you could be using your time a lot more wisely. Let's just say that, right? There's plenty of other good options for you to where I can never conceive a point where I'm like, I really need to get in the isolated point where I do like a weird whatever cross thing with Velcro cuffs, and now I'm taking a seat and a cable machine. It's just like, you don't need to do that. Speaking about stealing extra equipment that you don't need, seated cable flies. Okay, this is another one. It's going in the science tier. Okay, I saw a video earlier today. Somebody doing this. This is what you take like take a bench and you slide it over in front of the cable machine, and it's like the double cable thing. And now you're doing a pec fly with the cables, and you're also using one of the benches there. It's just like, all right, this is also doing too much. All right, this is like, there's quicker, easier options that are better. So why? I don't know. I think about it like very simple, right? Like if there is a faster technique that's a faster setup, it's just as and possibly even more effective, why would we do the one that takes longer? Like in my opinion, I just don't get it. Okay, so that's why, seated cable flies, it's going in the science tier. But cable cross, this is like doing like almost like a chest press fly combination thing on the cables. You got the cable machines and you kind of cross them over in front of you. These are, again, this is my opinion. If I could have a half thing in here, I would put them in the C.5 or C.B, somewhere in the middle. B minus maybe. I think there's, again, I'm not really sure what you're getting from a cable cross that's better than another movement, but I still think that they're fine. They're still okay. Maybe even B. All right, machine press. We got machine press. Thing is, lately there's been all sorts of cool machine presses. I am going to put them in A, and this is kind of depending. It's hard to say, right? Because there's a lot of different kinds of machine presses. The machine presses at my gym, my current gym, my YMCA, are crap, right? The machines are all worn out, so you have like no range of motion. Yes, this is an A with a caveat, okay? So if your machine presses are like mine, where the range of motion starts like right here because the cables are so worn out, there's all this stuff, and and you can't really load them that high, then I would say they're probably going to be like a D, right? But if you have a good one, like if you have one of those stand-up ones, like I've seen, it's like a stand-up machine where you put your back against this, against like a board or a pad, right? And then in front of you, you have all these different handle grips that you can grab onto, and push it at different widths and grips and everything. Now, if you had one of those, I think that's pretty sweet. I think that could be solid A tier material. But again, if you just got the busted old things, you're probably gonna be like a C or a D. All right, so again, machine press, caveat. Pec deck. All right, pec deck. Boom. This is going in absolute J Cutler tier. And a lot of people, they don't know this. When I say pec deck, this is the pec fly machine, okay? Now, I greatly prefer a pec fly machine over a cable, any sort of cable flies, right? Because if you think about the line of pull, okay? So the cables are going to be somewhere behind you, right? So when you are pulling your cables forward and you're kind of putting your hands together, there's going to be some amount of that line of pull is pulling back, okay? But when you're on a pec deck, aka pec fly machine, and you bring that thing, you bring that thing out in front of you, and you pull that those handles in front of you, all of the weight, right, is because it's on like a whatever, it's twisting. I can't think of the names, right? Whatever, because of the axis and the cables and the cams and all that crap, you are pushing that weight directly in. Okay, so the line of pull, the direction of the line of pull is directly away from you at all points. Right? The tension is even, you could say, throughout the movement. Okay, it's the perfect thing. Excellent. Peak contraction resistance. Resistance profile is good. That's what I'm talking about. That thing. So pec deck, absolutely in the J Cutler chest tier. All right, we only have 2 more to go. Okay, dumbbell fly. All right, dumbbell fly. People aren't going to like this, but I'm going to put, this is for me. Okay, this is my opinion. I'm putting dumbbell flies in the C tier. Okay, and I've tried to do dumbbell flies and get them to work, and incline dumbbell flies. Again, it's like if you're doing a flat bench incline, or if you're doing a flat bench dumbbell fly, when you go and you're at the top of the weight, right? You're at the top of the movement. The weight, like the direction of resistance is straight down, like straight through your arms. Like there's nothing on your pec anymore. Like there's no tension on your pec. All of the tension is just however much strength you're like pushing your hands together. Okay, so that's like, I feel like that's nada. That's nothing. So again, resistance profile is not good, you could say. The other thing I don't like, again, you kind of, I don't know, even the same thing if you get on the incline, it's just, trying to get a good contraction. It's just, to me, it's just not as good. It's trying to do the same thing that a pec deck is doing. It just does it worse. So in my opinion, why would you do it? And I know you have, trust me, I know you have like professional elite level trainers, Hanny Rambod, saying you need to be able to be good at dumbbell flies. I just don't like them, man. I just don't really feel it. So, I think you should do what works for you. That's what I think. All right, and the last one on here, actually there's two more. There's a secret one that I forgot to do, but so I'll do that one last. But this one is slingshot. Okay, so this is that that rubber band you put your arms through, and then you do your regular flat barbell bench press, and as you bring the weight down, it brings more tension across the band, so that it helps you in the bottom of the rep, and then the top half of the rep is all yours. It's essentially like doing like a cheat rep thing, just kind of like again assisting the bottom. It really helped me to increase my maximum a lot. I still use it all the time in my training. I bought a slingshot. I've had it for, I don't know, 6 years maybe. Like, I use that thing all the time. I love it. Really helps me like get my body ready for the next weight. It really helps me like prime my nervous system set. If I try, it really helped when I was getting up to 315, and even when I was getting up to 250, 270, all the time. It's like, I'll try a really heavy weight that I can't do regular. With the slingshot, I'll be able to do that like 3 times, right? So I get used to doing that weight every week. I'm doing it 3 reps, 5 reps on the slingshot. Now when I go back to do it raw, it's easy. It feels more comfortable. All right, and then I said there was an honorable mention. It would be another one that goes in the science tier, and that is plate press, or anything where you're like holding one dumbbell and like doing like this with it, like a plate or something. That one's I'm sorry. That one's going in the science tier. No, that's junk. You might feel it. I think it's something that like you can feel, but just because you can feel it doesn't really mean that it's beneficial. Like, I think that feeling it is a good metric to be able to tell if something's beneficial or not, but it's not the only thing that matters. Okay, so plate extension press things where you squeeze a plate between your hands, science tier, trash. Get it out of here. All right. Hope you enjoyed that one, okay? Go out there and crush some chest. All right? Crush it for me. All right, pre-workout up. See you guys in the next video.